So those are very strong statements, a compelling address from the side of Justice Nagaratna. She's really sparked the gender parity debate. What do you think of it? We've opened our call-in lines as well. We also have Shilpi Jain, Supreme Court lawyer, with us. Meanwhile, we have our first caller already patched with us on the phone line. Yes, Radhika, over to you. What do you have to say about, this statement by Justice Nagaratna?
See, I beg to differ here because man and women were created different. We are nurturers of children. So why should children suffer? It is not about man or women. When you bring a child into this world, you should take responsibility for it. So I'm not against, but if women decide they don't want children or anything, then they can go ahead and compete, because the competitiveness will bring home another problem of its own. I'm sorry that you may sound that I'm chauvinist or whatever, but no, in the long run, it is always better if there's adjustment. Thank you.
Fine, fair enough, Radhika. You're entitled to your views. Shilpi Jain, Supreme Court lawyer, also with us. Shilpi, if I could come to you. End of the day, what Justice Nagaratna was talking about, she was hinting at pay parity, the need really for rectifying the biases, the gender biases which exist not only in our professional but also in our personal space. How relevant do you think these comments are in today's time and context?
They're extremely relevant. Every sentence that she said, I think I completely endorse, and likewise most of the women will endorse. We go through it day in and day out in our professional careers and in the societal pressures that each woman faces. 50% of the population in India consists of women. Hence, a proper representation in power's seats, of women is the only answer if you really want a developed country, and the progress should be at par with what it is in the Western countries. But the fact is that as far as progressive is concerned, in case of women, it remains only a facile word. We talk of dignity of women, we talk of women's empowerment, but in practical terms, men put her second to themselves all the time for all practical purposes. We have fought female feticide. We haven't been able to fight dowry deaths. We still have the highest number of dowry deaths.
Yes.
Domestic violence cases are at the highest. And the fact is that while we may talk of women empowerment, the perception has to change. Women are empowered, but what is required is that the society needs to perceive her as empowered. And that is why the pay parity doesn't come, because she will have the same amount of caliber. She in fact, I feel women work harder because when they are put in positions of power, it comes to them after a lot of struggles. So they cherish it more. So they will put equal effort and sometimes more effort, are equally intelligent and have the same caliber, but in terms of return, people don't take us seriously, and for that we need a change in the societal attitude.
Right. There's a need for the change in perception. That's a very pertinent point which you are making. Why don't you hold on to that thought, because a very similar line was echoed by women's rights activists who we spoke to. They also spoke on India's gender gap, why it's so massive, what needs to be done. Let's listen into those reactions as well.
We need to be keeping in mind all the points that she spoke about. Today, we've reached the other side of the moon, and yet patriarchy, chauvinism, misogyny, sexism continues. Marital rape is still not accepted, even in the legal fraternity, as a crime. Also, the politicians don't want to look at it. There's a lot of legal sanctions that have been given to marital rape, and that needs to change, because the Indian Constitution is clear that women have equal guarantees, equal rights as every citizen.
All right, a very pertinent statement made by Justice Nagaratna. Of course, it sparked the gender parity debate. Why should women be subordinate? Why should women take a back seat, even when, of course, it comes to a marriage, be it a personal or private space or professional space? The need for gender parity is what she's highlighted on. That's, and what needs to be done about it. That's the open-ended question which we leave our viewers with. Thank you, Shilpi, for joining us. And also, of course, for one of our colleagues for bringing us up to speed with the latest on the same. With that, we slip into a short commercial break.